Here on the channel, we have talked about customization within Cyberpunk 2077 a lot now, but every single time that we have talked about it, we've talked about it more as a way of functionality. Does this current upgrade make you even more powerful within the world of Cyberpunk, or does it do a particular job that you need it to do? But there is also the upgrades and there's also the customization just to look good within Cyberpunk, and this also provides a benefit. Before I do get into the video, we really are starting to get extremely close to Cyberpunk. So if you do want to keep up to date with all the latest news as well as the latest content from me, there is a link in the description down below which will take you over to the Twitch stream, and we'll be streaming this game daily once it does come out. There is also links to absolutely everything else in the description, including Twitter, Instagram, and also Discord. So if any of that interests you, links can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video, as Cyberpunk is a role-playing game, clothing and style is very important in Cyberpunk. The items of clothing you wear will reflect on your street cred and also in-game statistics. You'll find items of clothing that will have resistance against certain elements. So far, we've seen physical resistance, thermal resistance, chemical resistance, electrical resistance. These statistics will benefit V massively against certain types of enemies. If you know you will be fighting against someone that predominantly uses fire, it makes sense for you to change up your clothing to be thermal resistant so that you can have a slight edge over your opponent. It means that every single time that enemy uses fire against you, you're not going to be taking as much damage compared to if you didn't have something that was fire resistant. The other thing to take into account, and I did briefly just mention it, is the street cred. There are two different types of XP within Cyberpunk. You'll have your standard XP, which is your experience you earn whilst going through story missions. This XP will then level you up, and every single time you level up, you will be awarded a skill point. This skill point will then go into a skill tree where you can get different types of abilities. These abilities will change who V actually is and unlock different skills that V can then use on different enemies, or even just find different ways to enter into different buildings. It all depends what the ability you wanted to upgrade. Street cred, however, is XP from side missions as well as side activities. This XP does not provide a combat advantage. You don't get skill points, but what you do instead get is new dialogue options, new vendors throughout Nigh City, and other content because your reputation in the world is growing, so that unlocks more things that you can do. Ranking up your street cred will unlock more content. This includes cyberware and also items of clothing, which will give you bonus percentage in street cred XP every time you're wearing that specific item of clothing and you go into side missions or even side activities. So there you'll have a constant loop where you can increase your street cred. These are the benefits that you have within the game by changing up your clothing. But we also have to bear in mind that clothing is important to you just to look nice. Look the way that you want your character to look. We've discussed customization before, and we've even spoken about how there isn't a third-person camera angle for V, and CDPR have even said that they've tried to phase out as many third-person cutscenes as possible. So that's led quite a few people within the community saying that they're not going to bother customizing V because they're never going to see V. Myself, I am not someone that believes this. We've already just gone through the benefits of changing up your items of clothing because there is different resistance within the game, and also it affects your street cred, which will unlock more stuff and more content. But there is also a benefit just to still look nice within the game. You can still see your character in menus, and you can also see him in reflections. So it's not like you're never ever going to see your character. And there's also dialogue within the game where NPCs will comment on your style whilst walking around Night City. So it's worth taking the time to look nice, because this will later reflect on your ego because you'll just get compliments as you're walking around. In Nigh City Wire episode 4, CDPR revealed 4 different styles, and this was part of the 2077 in style trailer. Firstly, we have Kitsch. This style involves neon hair, illuminating tattoos, chrome for cyberware. Functionality comes second in this style. What really matters is the looks. Next up, we have Atropism. In this style, it's about surviving by any means, getting the job done no matter how or what the primary goal is. Looks do not matter within this style. What does matter is the functionality. If it gets the job done, why bother changing it? Next up, we have Militarism. This style is for your wealthier parts of town. Substance over style. A lot of black clothing, high-end suits, dresses, as well as other high-end items of clothing. This style is stereotypically used for people within corp, your executives, your CEOs, people within power. And finally, we have Neo Kitsch. This is still your wealthy parts of the city, but it's a bit more colorful. This style is taken up by celebrities and it involves gold and chrome cyberware. People within this style have money, they have wealth, and they want everyone to know it. So those were the styles that were on show. And how you be a part of these different styles is entirely up to you. It comes down to what type of clothing do you want, but also the cyberware that you use and how you want that to reflect your style. Yes, functionality plays a massive part in the cyberware that you use, but alongside being overpowered, you also want it to look good. You can change up your cyber limbs, which involves cybernetic arms, legs, hands, and feet. You can also change up your cyberware weapons, and there are a number of different implants that you can use. You can get Ripper docs within the game that upgrade your cyberware. A lot of these do it legally, but there are some that will offer black market gear which can be upgraded illegally. Some of this gear can be military grade. You'll find within the world of Cyberpunk that there's a lot of cyberware that you can use which does the exact same job, if not a very similar job. But what it can come down to deciding is whether or not you want to take functionality or whether or not you want to take style. There's also a situation where all of this does link into what I said earlier, which is your street cred. If your street cred is not high enough, then simply you will not be able to access certain cyberware because it belongs to a certain vendor that you have not unlocked yet. So all of this is heavily connected. When it comes to unlocking more content, we have already spoken about street cred and how it is used to unlock more vendors and fixes within the world of Cyberpunk, so you can get better and also nicer looking items of clothing and cyberware. It's also been confirmed by CD Projekt Red that you can have gang stylized content, being weapons, cyberware, clothing, and even vehicles going from bikes and also cars. CD Projekt Red have confirmed that V as a mercenary is not able to join a gang, no matter what the gang is. Mercenaries can be hired from gangs as well as corporations. And because it's always been a situation where money has been transferred, a lot of gangs do see mercs as doing it just for the money, whereas gangs will be doing it for a specific cause. So gangs will never want a merc to be part of what they are, but they will happily dish out jobs to mercenaries, and there can be a working relationship. By building on that relationship, doing jobs, V will get rewarded or even find loot that is in that specific gang style. So if there's a specific gang that you like, you can't be one of them, but what you can do is work closely with them, build up a relationship, get the loot, and eventually you will be decked out with all the items, clothing, and also weapons, as well as some different types of vehicles that are specific to that gang. Whilst we're on the subject of this, we do have to still bear in mind that V is a mercenary. Even though V can't be part of a gang, V is part of a group that has access to the Afterlife Bar, which is where all the legendary mercenaries go. I'm sure as you progress as a mercenary, there will be exclusive as well as other ways to customize V by becoming a legendary merc. So all in all, your style is very, very important within the game. Whether it's important to you for you to look good within the world or whether it's just to progress further. Because by changing up your style, by making sure that you have the right statistics, whether it be resistance to certain elements or whether you're just doing it for street cred, you can unlock more content or have a slight edge of whatever mission you're about to go into. So for those that do argue saying that it's pointless customizing V, because you will never ever get to see V, it is still important within the game because we have to remember that this is a role-playing game. There are other things at play which are going on in the background, as well as other benefits that you can have. Let me know in the comment section down below, out of the 4 styles that were revealed in the 2077 in style trailer, which one are you more likely to go for? Are you someone that does want to change up V's appearance to actually look nice, or are you more about the functionality? I think out of all of them, I really want to aim for that Neo Kitsch. Some of the characters that popped up in the trailer during this segment looked incredibly cool, so I think that's what I'm going to be pushing for. But anyway, if you do want to talk more in depth about Cyberpunk, there is links to absolutely everything in the description down below, be it Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and also the Discord. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.